Hey 49ers fans, welcome back to Inside the 49ers with Jack Hammer. Today we're going to take a look at Brock Purdy and why the second-year signal caller would make the most sense for the 49ers long-term at the quarterback position. You know, you start to look at where the 49ers are, you look at their roster, and they have a number of high-end talented players that are going to be very expensive. Brandon Ayuk is due a big deal after this season. Nick Bosa has a big extension coming up. That's to add on to Trent Williams, guys like Fred Warner, George Kittle, Eric Armstead, and the list goes on. That's where Brock Purdy comes into play. As a rookie, he lit up the NFL when he finally got a chance to play late in the season. The numbers that he put up were outstanding. Yes, he had a great core around him. That usually is what happens when quarterbacks play at a high level. They have a pretty good core of players around them. So you start to look at the numbers, and here's the thing. With Brock Purdy, he's only going to cost the 49ers $3 million against the salary cap over the next 3 seasons. Now compare that to Trey Lance. Now Trey Lance may have a higher overall ceiling. Does that ceiling something that he's going to reach? We don't know. The potential, we haven't seen him hit that potential yet, and maybe that's going to change this year. Who knows? But when it comes to Brock Purdy, $3 million over the next 3 years compared to Trey Lance this season at 9.3. Next season, Trey Lance is going to be 10.8. And let's just say Trey Lance starts the season and blows it out. He has a great year. Do the 49ers pick up that 5th-year option for Trey Lance? Well, if they do, that means they're going to be on the hook in 2025 for over $20 million for the quarterback. So when you start to look at that and you start to look at the roster the 49ers have, like I said, do the 49ers want to keep their base? Do they want to keep their high-end talent? Or do they want to have a quarterback take up the majority of it? Now, they've said, both Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have stated that they've seen the value in creating a solid roster around a low-end cost quarterback, and that's Brock Purdy to the max because he was the last quarterback taken in the draft. And so, like I said, he's going to be $889,000 against the cap this year for the 49ers. That goes up to $1 million, just over $1 million in 2024, and then in 2025 he's $1.1 million. It's a steal, and that would allow them to not have to worry about Brandon Ayuk. There's no worries with Nick Bosa and some of those other players. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes along, and just kind of looking at the numbers and where does Brock Purdy fall in the pantheon of NFL quarterbacks. We don't know at this point. He's played 10 games in his career. You look at he's played a little bit more than that, but 2 of those games were just handing off the ball. He threw the ball in 10 NFL games last season. Those 10 opponents, 7 of them were in the playoffs. So he played very well, put up big numbers against a number of playoff caliber teams, including some really good numbers in the playoffs. First off against Seattle, and then against the Cowboys in those big wins. We didn't get a chance to see what he'd do in Philly because of the injured arm. We'll see how that works out. We'll see where he falls back. But the key to all this for Purdy, though, too, is he needs to be healthy. He needs to recover from that UCL. He needs injury. He needs to show that he's the same guy that he was last year in terms of the arm strength, in terms of not being gun shy because of the injury that he had. If he can do those things and he's right back out there, there's room for growth with Brock Purdy. So we'll see where that transitions. One other thing to think about with Purdy is that one of the biggest downs in the NFL is third down. They call that the money down in the NFL. Brock Purdy last season converted for a touchdown or an interception on 47% of his pass attempts last season. To put that in perspective, that's right around the same number as Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes at 51%. So pretty close there. I haven't gone through all the top 10 quarterbacks, but I feel pretty assured that if I go through the top 10 quarterbacks or anybody's top 10 list, Purdy would measure up right in that category. So we'll see where he is. Is he a top 10 quarterback? We can't say that at this point. He's only made, 8 starts at this point, played in 10 games, thrown passes in 10 games, excuse me. So we don't know exactly what Brock Purdy is yet, but if he's healthy and he's able to come out here in 2023 and he's able to perform at the same level that he did, or maybe even a little bit better than he did as a rookie, there's no doubt that Brock Purdy makes the most sense for the 49ers moving forward based on what they can do with the rest of the roster and still having a quarterback that can play at a high level. So there you have it. Take it for what it's worth. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys can please, on your way out, hit that like button, subscribe, and then turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the content here at Inside the 49ers with Jack Hammer. We are going to make sure that we bring you everything. Next week we have OTAs on Tuesday, so keep it locked in here for that, as well as all your 49ers breaking news and content. Take care, everybody, and we'll be talking with you soon.